The Made in China label isn't anything new to most Americans, but this time, again, it has become the target in the U.S. Earlier this month, the U.S. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid criticized the U.S. Olympic team's opening ceremony uniforms being made in China. He said, quote, "I think the Olympic Committee should be ashamed of themselves. We should put them in a pile and burn them." For this week's Across America talk, we have invited China Daily's columnist Chen Weihua and veteran journalist Joseph Boris to talk more about the issue. So let's start with Weihua. What's your take on this issue?
I think the whole thing is absurd, but I'm not surprised by, what's happening. This is a typical American politics in a campaign year. It's very good for the Democratic Party who, want to show they are supporting the union for jobs. They care about the jobs. Now the unemployment rate is 8.2%. So this is a big concern for Americans. So the Democrats want to portray themselves as the one who care about American jobs. And now it's also a good distraction, because they don't really have a solution, a quick solution to fix the problem. So now they want to blame this as outsourcing, to China especially. And in China, the mood for China in this country is kind of soaring. So China is an easy target all the time. So I'm not surprised.
So Joe, as an American, what is your first reaction when you watch that news?
I think there is a serious case to be made, maybe not during the silly political season, regarding outsourcing policy and U.S. tax policy that maybe makes it more efficacious for companies to ship jobs overseas. I don't think that the Olympic outfit controversy is anything more than political opportunism during a presidential campaign. Like Weihua, I would agree that no solution to the overall unemployment problem is going to be found, and I don't think that's the point. I think clearly you're seeing Democratic political leaders trying to appeal to their base, and in the meantime capture the public's attention during a campaign season by going for what is essentially red meat.
Well, yes, exactly. I can't agree more. And, there are a lot of other American politicians who have been criticizing China for stealing away its jobs. Is that the real case?
Well, there has been a bipartisan consensus in the U.S. for at least 20 years now about free trade, and you can take that phrase at face value or maybe look at it a little more critically. It's both parties have decided that having overseas outsourcing of jobs is going to be a byproduct of our trade policy, the U.S. trade policy. The fact that China, India, and any number of other countries, primarily in Asia but also South America, are beneficiaries of that policy is not to their detriment. Someone is going to fill this manufacturing need, and it's China has every right to take on this role as any other country, market economy in the world.
Weihua, what's your thoughts on this?
Actually, on the Olympic uniform thing, you actually see it's all the Senate Democrats, the Democrats in the Congress making the noise. The Senate Democrats introduced a bill on Monday that requires the U.S. Olympic team to have uniform made in the U.S. in the future. So I think everyone wants to look as a patriot. They are patriotic and they care about the Americans, and they know, it is impossible to have clothing made in the U.S. anymore. That's why, you don't actually hear President Obama or even the Republican president candidate Romney talking about this. They were very quiet. A lot of other people who disagree, but they don't want to speak up, because in American politics today, as I understand, it's not good, to speak against, these workers, manufacturing workers who are suffering from the unemployment. But everybody knows, if you have clothing made in the United States, the cost is going to be doubled or tripled, for Ralph Lauren or Nike, for any U.S. government company. That means they're not going to be able to compete with their rivals overseas. And what's that going to happen? Over the years, they're going to go out of business. And is that a patriotic? I don't think so.
Well, When it comes to the unemployment rate, it reminds me of your last column, which read U.S. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid should run for president this year because he may solve the high unemployment problem and simply eliminate the 8.2 unemployment rate in June by turning the jobless Americans into hardworking government workers.
Yeah, I'm just teasing, actually. I just, because I thought the whole thing Harry Reid talked about is so absurd, because he really wants to restore the sort of the manufacturing, the garment industry in the United States. I think, this is something we know, about the comparative advantage, garment industry in general belongs to the third world developing country, and now you want the superpower, the United States, to retreat into a third world country. That's just, I don't think even that looks patriotic as Harry Reid want to portray himself. It is unpatriotic.
Okay, thank you both for coming to our studio, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Right.